I never thought I would run for any electoral position. In fact, I haven't voted in an election in almost a decade. It was years ago that the blatant corruption of political systems in this country at the national and local levels convinced me that voting was a waste of time. Much reading and activism led me to see that at my core, I'm an anarchist. Now that word has been bent and twisted to mean a lot of different things to different people, typically the newfound definitions being highly inaccurate. And this is it plain and simple. I don't think I can represent you. I can't represent any person who isn't myself. Nobody can. And if believing that one person can represent another with true fidelity is fallacious, then believing that one person can represent 800,000 is downright farcical. But here I am running. Why? Because despite the extremely low voter turnout in Austin's local elections, the city government hasn't just packed up and gone home. Despite the fact that low voter turnout and low levels of participation clearly betray the public's overwhelming attitude that the city government is a completely invalid institution in their lives, the institution persists. And in its persistence, it is demonstrably aligned with a skewed vision of the present and the future. This skewed vision results in an adherence to a dying paradigm of infinite growth dependent on petroleum and the importation of every necessity of life into this city, and a complete lack of attention to what the land base beneath our feet can support. I dare say that every sitting member of the current city government believes in a future of more glass skyscrapers, more highways, more suburbs, and all of the glorious contractual arrangements with private corporations that come out of such faith. Handing money in the form of tax breaks and subsidies to billion-dollar hotel chains and billionaire-owned Formula One racing is clear evidence of the desire to continue such transfers of the public purse and public resources to private entities already flush with wealth. Just recently, the current council voted to unanimously approve baiting Apple Inc. with millions of dollars, despite the fact that Apple has $100 billion of liquid cash. The council members tout job creation, but of course, what jobs locals do attain from Apple's increased presence will benefit those in a niche sector in an already affluent area of town. How many East Siders are going to benefit from such a giveaway? The council also recently unanimously approved handing the city's finances over to JP Chase, an institution with a seemingly endless list of previous criminal accusations and settlements against them. And this flying in the face of overwhelming desire of Austin's people to have the city's finances held and managed by local banks and credit unions. This again betrays the adherence to status quo and the old paradigm of the sitting council and mayor. True forward-thinking due diligence would have included taking the steps necessary to create a working financial architecture with local banking institutions, or heaven forbid, researching the creation of a city-owned People's Bank, which would invest its profits in public works, as opposed to handing our money to Wall Street gangsters who pocket all the profits generated from holding our tax money. Look, I'll be straight, I'm not the candidate for everybody. If you don't see anything wrong with building and maintaining an infinite growth economy dependent on petroleum imports and bond sales, then don't vote for me. If you think development is more important than 100-year-old trees, don't vote for me. If you think your right to run a television and an air conditioner trumps the right of the citizens of Fayette, Texas to not be poisoned by a coal-fired power plant, don't vote for me. And if you believe the answer to criminal activity in Austin is more cops on patrol and more young Latino and black men behind bars or shot dead in the streets, then don't vote for me. On the contrary, if you see the wisdom of old ideas long abandoned for corporate profit, like rain catchment, gray water use, windmills, bicycles, car-free zones, organic farms every 2 miles, cooperative grocery stores, fruit and nut trees lining every street, and the freedom of the individual to live as they please peacefully without the harassment of bureaucrats and cops, then I might be the guy for you. Again, I can't speak for you. I cannot represent you. Only you can do that. But if your ideas seem to align with my ideas, then vote for me if you think it'll make even a small difference here in Austin. And if I don't win the seat for place 5, join me in the streets. Because remember, your power as a human being is not limited to the 5 seconds you spend punching a ballot. And thinking that it is an intentional construct designed to stifle dissent and public autonomy. Your power was with you constantly. Organize, create, and take back your world. You need not ask permission. You have no masters. Thank you.